What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source of combat sports. I'm your host, Al Postmaster Morrow. Today, I'm excited to bring you yet another review, only today is a little bit different from my typical gear reviews. I don't have a pair of boxing or MMA gloves in front of me like I normally do. Instead, I have something that's specifically designed to make sure that your boxing and MMA gloves smell great, feel fresh, and maintain their life much longer. I am, of course, talking about the awesome Glove Purifier, which has been an amazing game changer for me when it comes to cleaning gear. You know me if you've been watching the channel for a while. I've made a few different videos of me actually cleaning my equipment from, spraying stuff, wiping them down, leather care and conditioning for gloves and stuff like that. And all I can say is, as a professional mixed martial artist myself, and now that my knee's starting to get fixed up and I'm able to train every day again, basically, I need my gear to last as long as I want it to, basically, and I need it to last during camps, during training, anything you can think of. And as an avid glove collector, I pride myself in making sure everything that you see on these shelves is in tip-top shape at all times, because I like to display it along with using it. So when I learned about the Glove Purifier, I wanted to use it for a while, and I just want to get this out of the way right off the bat, is that the folks at Glove Purifier did send this to me about 5 months ago or so, and I've used this every day for that 5 months, basically, that I've had a pair of gloves on. And just because that they sent this to me doesn't mean that I was paid or anything. They didn't want me to say anything specific. They just wanted me to give my honest, upfront experience. And at the end of the day, guys, 3 things I don't like getting messed with, as you know, is my money, training, and health. And I would never mess with those things when it comes to you. The golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. That's the same thing. So just because this was sent to me, again, 100% upfront, honest, straightforward review. I wouldn't lie to you about this because, again, those 3 things, mess with those with me, I'm not a happy camper. So when it comes to this product, like I said, because I am so into cleaning my gear and making sure it's all good, I was really kind of skeptical, like a lot of other people were when this came out, because for me, like most of you thought, it was just a glorified boot warmer, and it was a hunk of plastic that cost way too much. But then after using it and really actually looking into what it does, I was like, oh, okay, there's actually science behind this thing, because this isn't just a standard glove dryer or boot warmer like you see a bunch of other people use. It actually has science built into this, and that it uses active ozone. So this thing is actually an ozone emitter. Now, basically, I can't go into so much depth when it comes to the science of ozone, because I myself am not a scientist. My wife is a science teacher, and she basically broke it down like this. Ozone uses a type of oxidization that basically gets into bad smelling odors, which we all know that those odors actually break your glove down, and I'll talk about that in a second, but actually get a hold of the molecules and stuff of those odors, break them apart from their chemical bond, basically, and neutralize it. So it basically goes onto a bad smelling molecule or something like that, kills it, and then dissipates it. So it gets rid of bad scents, which is actually pretty crazy if you stop to think about that a tiny little device like this is technically an ozone emitter. And I'll talk more about that when we go into the settings of the device itself. But I thought that was really cool. So looking into the research of ozone itself, I was like, wow, I can't believe that this was actually incorporated into boxing equipment now. So I thought that was cool. Maybe other products have done that, but not that I've known. I've known there's been other glove dryers that kind of look like this, and they air out the glove pretty well, but that's all they do is really dry it. But in general, the device is very easy to put together, take apart. Basically, it comes just like this, only these 2 plastic pliers come off, and you can see again that they're curved, and it's very easy to snap back in. Although they are plastic, they're actually very durable plastic. They feel really thick and sturdy, and you can hear it's pretty solid. And then on top of it, you have the interface here right at the front. You can see that's where the air comes out, and then the cord is just a basic 2-prong outlet. So you don't need to get a 3-prong outlet like adapter in case your house maybe has older outlets like mine does. So I need to get adapters for some rooms in my house do, some don't. But basically, when we come here again, the interface, you can see we got 2 buttons there, and you can see the timer. Basically what happens is you got a power button, an ozone button, and a drying button, and then here are the times. And all we do is you turn that on, and now your device is active. You can see we got the 2 lights. The red light being the one that's flickering because it's LED, and the camera doesn't like LED. Basically, is dry. You can turn that off or turn it back on. You can also turn the ozone on and off, and then you can get the timer all the way up to, I believe, 240 minutes, and then you can go all the way down to 10 because it works in intervals of 10, just like that. So it's very easy to use and navigate, and that's why I think this device is perfect for people that maybe don't kind of, look into taking care of their gear so much, it's very easy to just turn it on and walk away. That's what I do, and it's made taking care of my gears just brainless. And then, like I said, all these little plastic pliers do, you just take it and you just press in firmly. So that's snapped in, and now that's snapped in. And then if you want to make sure that it's snapped in entirely, we shake it that way downwards like it says in the instruction manual, and that means it's not coming off, okay? So that's basically how to put the device together. That's how it works, and as far as like just pushing buttons goes, but the actual application of using boxing gloves. So first I want to talk about basically why this is a better design compared to some other devices that you might have seen, like comparing it to, like I said, I used it for a long time too, a standard boot warmer, you know, and this extended up and stuff, and I used stuff like this for a long time. I used this probably for over 10 years. But basically, you can see immediately some of the differences. For one, this is a hunk of plastic too, that, believe it or not, at the time cost near what this cost. I think this was like 30 or 40 bucks when I first bought it, and this is around 60, 70 now, which we'll talk about that in a bit. But the only thing is, it has like a clock dial setting here, which breaks often, to be honest. And then on top of it, guys, not only do you have that clock dial setting instead of the convenient digital setting, but the heat of this just blasts as high as it can go, and that can actually damage the interior lining of your gloves, and that's never good. It could also melt the rubber inside of your gloves. Well, on the outside, like the cuff and stuff, I've actually seen that happen from different teammates. I have a teammate in carpentry that has like a super boot warmer somehow. I don't know how they can make any different, but the thing like basically gets as hot as a regular space heater, and it actually melted the outside rubber on his gloves, which is really not good for that. And then you gotta use different products to make sure the interior lining is soft and stuff like that. So this boot warmer really doesn't do as good of a job. If you don't have anything else, then you know, go for it. But at the end of the day, I'd rather it just air dry. And again, it has like straight pliers going up, so when you put gloves on it, it just goes in one direction and it doesn't help it. Whereas with this, the glove purifier, you can see that we actually have angled cuffs that have air circulating throughout all of it. Now, why that's awesome, if I take a pair of gloves by, say, Bryant Boxing, and you can see that here, the finger compartment will flare open if I do it, just like it would when your hands are on the inside. And we want it to do the same thing, so we just go ahead, get that up there, and watch how the glove opens up wide. Okay, so again, we see that there's, that crease in the fingers, and then we put it back down. Now watch how the palm opens wide up. Perfect. So the glove is literally able to open up and air out, and then on top of it, because you have the pliers that have the different types of open grates here, the air circulates perfectly, which is awesome. The other thing that's nice about this being so like the air circulates so much, is that it doesn't blow all over the place. It doesn't make the area that you're in hot. It stays consistent simply to one spot, and that's something that my boot warmer would do. Is you would walk by it and you could literally feel the heat just emit. It blew too hard, which is this regulates perfectly just for your glove. So they did a lot of time and effort into that. It's not just a straight blast furnace, basically. It's a concentrated area. So that's basically what you have going on here. So now going into how you can actually dry and make your gloves smell better too, right? And this glove probably isn't the best example because it's made out of really high quality materials. It's the leather is very anti-acidic and stuff like that, so it doesn't really chip away or burn so much. And I'm actually going to review these very soon. So we'll go ahead and do something maybe a little cheaper, but that's still good quality. Another glove that I want to review soon. We'll talk about the Phytro training gloves, and these gloves are still a great quality glove. They're made out of genuine cowhide leather, and we'll do the review of these probably in the next week or two here. But basically, with this glove, the leather's good quality, but we want to make sure the interior lining and everything else is good quality too. So naturally, when we come home, I always tell you guys to take your stuff out of your bag, let it air out. What's nice about this device, again, we can see by plopping this on, that it opens the palm up perfectly. See how wide that opens it? That's awesome. So let's just say you want to dry it, okay? So what they recommend you do is you turn it on, okay? And you turn that ozone setting off, and you go all the way down to 20 minutes, and it says the 20-minute mark, as you can see there, is going to dry the glove out no problems, okay? So we're going to dry the glove out, which in turn will make the interior lining dry out. And again, wet gloves tend to mean there's a lot more sweat in it. And when we go back into the technology, into the science part of that, basically the more sweat you have in it, the more mildew and different things like types of molds and bad smelling bacteria gets into the interior lining of your gloves, right? So even a good glove like Phytro here basically would start to break down and fall apart. Any glove would if you didn't take care of that. That's why you have a lot of guys that will come to your gym with smelly gear and it's also flaking apart. If it's leather, the leather will begin to crack, and then also if it's vinyl, the vinyl will start to peel. So you have that going on, and that's not, and you know, Phytro being a good pair of gloves, although they do cost a little over $100, we want to make sure that we're not wasting money by spending $100 and then not taking care of it and then having it die out, right? So what we want to do is dry it out. So when we dry it out, that in essence kind of gets rid of some of that bacteria. But there's a better way to get rid of that bad smelling bacteria, and that is to turn it on and switch it to the ozone setting for 20 minutes. And again, that ozone, like the caveman science explanation that I was given, my wife did it a lot more elegantly. Like I said, she teaches high school science, so she knows some stuff. And basically, she told me what ozone does, or O3, will attach to those bad molecules because of its like oxidation type properties, something like that. Get into the bad smelling molecules, break them apart, and neutralize them. So what they recommend you do after practice is take these home, set it to 20 minutes. And what's cool is you can do both settings simultaneously, as you can see the green and the red light there. And that's exactly what I do, set it to 20 minutes to call it a day. Now when you turn it on, let me go ahead and I'll take the glove off so you can see it a little bit easier. When you turn it on, it immediately goes to 20 minutes. You can see that there. 20 minutes right there, or 120 minutes, my bad. And honestly, that's what I do, and it works fine. And I just walk away. But if you want to do it the exact way it tells you, go ahead and just set it to 20 and you're good to go. Okay, but let's hypothetically say that you got a brand new pair of gloves and they just don't smell that good for some reason, right? And you've been, sweating in them, you haven't cleaned them so much, and there's an existing odor, or if you want to try and eliminate odor before it even starts. Well, this is what they recommend you do. And what you recommend they do, and they even use the same exact one, the Lysol spray. I like Crisp Linen. You basically take this, spray the inside of the lining through both holes there, and then you slap it back on here, and you put ozone setting on alone, I believe, alone, just the ozone setting, and you set it to 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and you're good to go. Okay, so that's a really cool thing, is it actually gets rid of odor that way. Now, if it's just sweat and stuff, one treatment is really all you need, and this stuff, the Lysol spray, is perfect. If you want to use some other options, some of my favorites that I use, I love Vapor Fresh. It has a really nice scent to it. Or I use the Lysol laundry sanitizer, and that actually works really well because it works with the fabrics, actually softens the fabric up a little bit too on the inside. So I like using these just for a fresher scent. But what's cool that I found is somehow the ozone not only neutralizes the scent and the odors from bad odors, but it actually incorporates the new fresh scents and the good bacteria on the inside of your glove. And after I sprayed, I haven't used that on the Phytro yet, but on a pair of gloves that I tried for my teammate, after one treatment, their gloves actually smelled just like Vapor Fresh, and they still do a few weeks later, which is kind of crazy that it literally infuses it into the fabric. At least that's what we came to the conclusion of. We are obviously MMA fighters, we're not scientists, so we don't know if that's exactly what happened, but that's what we're gonna go with. The other cool thing that I like about this is basically, it's not just for boxing gloves. You can actually use them for MMA gloves too, that I found. And talk about a pair of MMA sparring gloves. You can see that we have the finger loops right here. And all I do, guys, is I just open this up wide, slide this down here, boom, and there we go. And it's right there. Now, the only thing some people might ask me is, well, is that really going to make that big of a difference because you have this part of the vent that's completely wide open? My wife asked me about that, so what I did is I took a bag, this is just an example because I had the Bryant boxing gloves out, so their bag's out here. I use a different cloth bag that's way in the other corner of my room, but this is all I do. I take this and I put it over both of the vents, like this, both of the pliers, and I just bring it down. That way, it circulates. And what's cool about this is that it actually makes the cloth bag smell really good too, which is nice. So I actually thought that was cool, that not only does it work, the ozone gets everything that is basically being hit by it, which is awesome. So that's one thing about the MMA gloves that I liked. And it even works for the MMA fight glove style, like we have the new UFC gloves, now the old ones. But basically what you do, you slide it in like that, and bam, you're good to go again. And you can see how it still folds that out. And the other thing about it is not just MMA gloves, but you have sneakers, right? I was trying this out just for fun, and I just wanted to see because my sneakers were really sweaty after a session. So all I did, I put it on, like this. Well, I think I put it on the other way, actually. I did. And I did it that way. Bam. And it works for your sneakers too. Was it designed for sneakers? No, it's called the Glove Purifier, but you might as well call it the Shoe Purifier too, because it works really well for your shoes too. And my shoes actually smell like Vapor Fresh now too, which is really cool. So just yeah, they still smell like Vapor Fresh. Now, the other thing most of you are probably asking is like, well, what if it has like super strong, everlasting scent to it? It can't possibly kill it all. I actually have a funny story for you. And I felt like an idiot, and also it was kind of like attacking my inner sanctum, but yep, they still smell good. This one too. Basically, guys, these are one of my favorite bag mitts, if not my favorite bag mitts I've ever used. The RB5 by Rival, and they're expensive, and you can't get this colorway on Rival anymore, I don't believe. And basically, I accidentally locked my cat in the office for my whole work day, and he didn't have access to a litter box. And for a few of my gloves, he actually used as his bathroom, which made me super upset because he never sprays anywhere in the house. But obviously, when he's left alone for a prolonged period of time, you know, Mother Nature calls, you gotta do it. So he actually flipped these over and peed all over the palm. And I was so upset, so I wiped it down and it just smelled really bad. But what I did is I sprayed it with a disinfectant spray, a generous amount. I put it on for 60 minutes. And after the first session, it worked. It actually took most of the scent away. It didn't take all of it away. And I was like, okay, well, if it took most of it, maybe it just needs to keep going. So I sprayed it again and it worked even more. And I would say about 80 to 85% of the scent went away. And then what I finally did, instead of just using the Lysol disinfectant spray here, I used the Vapor Fresh, and I used something called Odoban, which is a really, really strong thing that we use in our house in case, you know, a dog has an accident or something like that. When our old dog that's unfortunately passed had accidents, we used Odoban because it kills the scent immediately. Sprayed a little bit of it on there. And this was like over a month ago too. And I used the Ozone, and I use these every day, guys, and it still smells like the Odoban, which is a really strong eucalyptus scent, and it didn't ruin anything of the glove at all, which is nice. I got to it just quick enough for it to be nice and clean, and the glove still smells nice, which is absolutely awesome. So yes, it does work. Sometimes when you have super strong odors, it takes 1 or 2 sessions instead of just one, you know, maybe 2 or 3, just like with a strong scent like that. If you've ever run into anything like that, I hope not, because I was very upset with myself. You know, I can't be mad at my cat over that. You know, when Mother Nature calls, you got to do it. But that's the cool thing about this device. And I know this might be kind of difficult to review because, you know, you can't smell it. Smell-o-vision's not a thing. But all I ask is you have an open mind and, you know, kind of think, you know, I've really no reason to kind of, you know, BS you here, I guess is the way I would word that. I'm just saying that it is a really good product, especially if you want to keep on top of your gear. And if you want to, you know, maybe bring it to your gym, have some guys use it during a training session or something like that. You know, they are currently unavailable. I saw on Amazon recently. I think it's because they were just selling so much. They started about a year ago and they really weren't taking off until they went on Amazon. And I noticed that it said currently unavailable about a day after I looked to do the review. And basically I think it's because they sold over 400 units within the last month. And I think they just can't meet this the supply with the demand right now. Basically, they're a very small company, but I think they're going to blow up even more because they do an outstanding job and their product actually works. I personally give it a 10 out of 10 for what it does, and I think for the price range of $60 to $70, some people might be like, can't convince me not to just get a boot warmer. I get what you're saying, but trust me, there's science built into this thing that really helps. Now, with that said, one thing that I did neglect to mention earlier on, and I wish I had said it, but I'll put a big timestamp for you guys. This is technically an ozone emitter at the end of the day, and I did a lot of research on being around ozone because it does say on the box to not be near it within about 3 to 5 feet while it's working, and that's dead on. Basically, if you look up ozone emitters, O3, the chemical itself, I think that's what it would be categorized as, or an element, would actually kind of damage your lungs if you're too close to it and you sit next to it for so long. It could actually get into your lungs, damage it, and that's definitely not something that we want for you. So what I do, guys, is I just keep it in the corner of my room and I turn it on when I get home from practice. I take my stuff out, put it right on, and I walk away for about 20, 30 minutes, and I'm good to go. And then I just put my next pair of gloves, if I use 2 or 3 that night, on. You know, I use bag mitts, MMA gloves, and regular sparring gloves most of the time, and I just put them right over. The only thing that I found that this doesn't work for is something big like a shin guard, but it does work for headgear for me. I put headgear on it even, and put like I said, that cloth bag over it. That way it captures it and still makes it smell good. But shin guards obviously are just way too big to strap to this thing. Otherwise, it works really well for everything. But again, just stay about 3 to 5 feet away from it when it is on the ozone setting. If the ozone setting off and it's just on dry, then you're fine right next to it. And I find that, you know, if you just put the ozone setting on with the dry, it just works the best. Dries it out, kills the scent, and you're all good to go. So I really like that. Very easy to use, pretty affordable. I think if you take keeping your gear alive seriously, this is definitely you want this product. And I know, again, I do really in-depth reviews on everything, but I'm giving you every experience that I've had with it. It is by far the best product that I've used when it comes to keeping my gear like pristine, because before it was a long process, letting the glove dry out, spraying it with disinfectant spray, wiping it down and everything like that. And it's effectively cut that hassle in half. You know, some of my newer gloves, I haven't even had to like clean really that much because I'm able to just throw it on top, let it do its job, and it even fixes the outer shell because of the way that it disinfects the inside in a lot of ways. So I really like how that works. Obviously, you're still going to want to like spray your gear down and do everything along those lines, but for me, at the end of the day, this was a great investment this is a great investment for anyone that maybe isn't the best at taking care of their gear and a consummate professional that wants to make sure their gear lasts longer. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. Like I said, I know it's long-winded, but I try to give you every little detail and story that I can with everything that I've done with this, because I want to make sure you're making an informed purchase. I know I talk a lot, but at the end of the day, guys, and I know I say that sentence a lot too, at the end of the day, I got roasted for that in one of my last videos, my bad. But again, I just want to make sure you guys are armed with the knowledge when it comes to buying this, because like I said, things are expensive nowadays, and I know, you know, me being who I am too, you know, making a purchase that's over like 40, 50, 60 bucks for me, if it's not groceries, I have to sit down and think about it a little bit longer than just going, you know, getting food with my wife and stuff like that. You know, do I need this is really the big question. And for me, I think if you are a consummate professional and you have a pair of gloves that you're sticking with and you have an extra 60, 70 bucks, I definitely think this is something you're going to want to invest in. And I think your friends at your gym are really going to like you, especially if you want to charge them maybe $1 or $2. Like, hey, you know, for $1, I'll take them home and put them on the glove purifier, stuff like that. I don't do that, but you know, you could do a side hustle at your gym or bring this into your gym, have people pay it. It's kind of like a vending machine for their gloves. So that'd be kind of funny. But guys, thank you so much again for watching this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Above all, keep in touch with me too. Follow me on my social media pages. I got rid of the Facebook page, and I do have X, but I never pay attention to it. But you know, TikTok and Instagram, and obviously my YouTube shorts and stuff like that, I'm always on that. You can also email me. I have that listed in the about section on the YouTube page and also through my Instagram as well. So feel free to reach out, comment what you want to see me review next. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, please comment below, let me know. Share this with your friends, tell them to like and subscribe, and remember, those are 2 small clicks for you but 2 big steps for the channel. So guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I really appreciate you choosing your source of combat sports, the Combat Corporation. I've been your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and as always, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.